Does it also account for like the different seasonality? Because like one of the biggest challenges in the travel is seasonality. And from what I'm hearing recently, like the seasonality itself changes. As like some people are used to travel in the summer, but season changed to being like spring and autumn, for example, like in European countries. And like some travelers are still coming on the summer, but you know, the seasonality changed. How does it work in like I would say part of the world? And is it also like trends there?
So seasonality has been always huge, is part of this industry again. Changes have been changing across the year, but still there is a lot of volatility between seasonalities. So still what we see is that the peak season is double the traffic and double the people and double the tours that you need to run compared with the low season. So of course this creates a lot of complications for any operators because you might run overstaff in low season, you might run understaff in high season. You might have too much supply in low season, and so you need to keep everyone happy and try to give job to everyone, but then you will not have enough in high season. So this is a constant work where we need to kind of battle and see how to mitigate the risk.
And hey guys, welcome to another episode of Reframe First. I'm Oleg, I'm host of this podcast. Let me welcome our today's guest, Francesco Piccolo, founder and CFO at TripGuru. Hi Francesco, it's really great having you here.
Hello, nice to be here.
Yeah, TripGuru is one of the leading tour operators in Southeast Asia that provides experience-based packages for environmentally conscious travelers, right? So, and you provide packages around Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Turkey, Japan, and other countries. So could you tell us more about what you're building at TripGuru and what the mission of the company is and like what it is all about?
Sure. So TripGuru is a Hong Kong-based company. I come from Italy, but I moved here about 12 years ago. What do we do? To make it simple, without fancy words, we sell day tours, sightseeing tours, activity-based tours in different countries. You mentioned Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Japan, Turkey are the countries where we operate as of today. So basically we created and we keep expanding a network of tour guides, drivers, activity providers. We craft itineraries for them. And with them, we brand these products. We apply our quality standards and operational standards, and we distribute these products through our network of channels, which are B2B and B2B. We have a couple of hundred customers a year, 25,000 tours more or less a year, about 2,000 people between tour guides and drivers and activity providers. For the travel industry, tour and activities sector, which is very fragmented, it's quite of a big scale already, which requires a lot of technology and operational efficiency, which we will speak maybe later a bit. So what do? We all this is under one brand, the TripGuru brand. We have 4.7, 4.8 as a review rating average on 5 stars. We aim and are proud to say we are very close to zero impact in our tours. So this is a summary. If I have to tell you about our mission, well, we don't really have a mission statement, but I think I can break down in 3 areas probably.
Mm-hmm.
For our customers, we want to provide quality and fairly priced experiences. So we want to be the right trade-off between quality and price and making sure there is that transparency when they buy. For our operators, suppliers, tour guides, we want to provide stable jobs. That's our objective. And for the industry itself, we want, and this is probably the most important, at least for myself, we want to make sustainable tourism the norm, not the exception. And yeah, that's it about TripGuru.
Yeah, awesome. But with like by saying like that's quite a big operation, 2,000 people of providers and 25,000 tours, like that's a lot. And so like the idea is like, are you selling like some package deals or is it like, are you selling some individual tours? I mean, package deals like person arrives to the country, like you accommodate them, you like travel them, make the itineraries.
No, we only sell the activity itself, the tour. So we don't do the full package. We are the third step of the booking process during the organization of a trip. So first you book your flight, then you book your hotel, then usually just a few days before traveling or when you are already in the destination, you book the things to do. We cover the part of the things to do on.
Things to do. Awesome. So you're also building the itineraries.
So
Did you like
yes.
how entertain them?
Yeah. So 25,000 are the number of tours that we run across a year, more or less. Those tours, those itineraries are about 1,000, a bit less than 1,000, included different packages per itinerary. We try to cover all the service levels as well, starting from the cheapest option where you might have only a driver, going to the most premium option where you go private with the luxury services. We cover from a private tour to big bus tour. And in between, we have actually our strongest part, which is the small group tours. So it's a group of 7 to 12 people, depend on the country. So we try to cover a wide range of itineraries and service levels per itinerary. Do we craft these itineraries? We do everything in-house. So we have a team that studies the market, talks to the customers, collect feedback from supply side, from demand side as well, through interviews with our sales distribution channels, etc. And we come up with new ideas for new itineraries. And it's a continuous process. Our itineraries, some of them are more static, the one that sell best, but there is always some sort of moving part and optimization according to feedback and according also to market trends, because it's an industry that keeps changing. And so you need to keep always ahead of the curve.
Does it also account for like the different seasonality? Because like one of the biggest challenges in the travel is seasonality. And from what I'm hearing recently, like the seasonality itself changes, as like some people are used to travel in the summer, but season changed to being like spring and autumn, for example, like in European countries. And like some travelers are still coming in the summer, but you know, the seasonality changed. How does it work in like I would say part of the world? And is it also like trends there?
So seasonality has been always huge, is part of this industry again. Changes have been changing across the year, but still there is a lot of volatility between seasonalities. So still what we see is that the peak season is double the traffic and double the people and double the tours that you need to run compared with the low season. So of course, this creates a lot of complicancies for any operators, because you might run overstaff in low season, you might run understaff in high season. You might have too much supply in low season, and so you need to keep everyone happy and try to give job to everyone, but then you will not have enough in high season. So this is a constant work where we need to kind of battle and see how to mitigate the risks. Has been shifting, yes, and in an ideal world, we would like always to mitigate, and the way we do that is we go in destinations. We try to expand in destinations that have alternate seasonalities. So, for example, if our high season in Christmas in Thailand is Christmas, we are going to Japan, where the high season is actually in spring. And so, in this way, we try to keep more the same level of volumes that, of course, shift between these different destinations. I haven't seen much of the shift that has been described sometimes. Yes, countries try to promote less traveled destinations. I think it's a good thing to battle over tourism. But to be honest with you, I haven't seen that still very much happening in the numbers. I think most of the travelers still want to see the main attractions. So if you go to Paris, you want to see the Tour Eiffel. If you go to Rome, you want to see the Colosseum. It's difficult that people will not go there. And the period when they travel, also, yes, we can try to promote different seasons, and we try to do that. But the reality is, if you have a family and you have kids, you can travel only 1 month a year, because it's when the kids have holiday. If you have certain jobs, you also can travel only on a certain moment of the year. So my view on this is that things you can smooth a little bit the peaks and the lows of the curve, but you cannot really change this volatility in terms of seasonality.
Okay, I see. Like about what you mentioned, like you're also trying to sell it like B2C, like from your website, but you're also trying to do the B2B sales. So like, what is that about? So do you have some integration with I don't know, accommodations platforms? Who do you
So
work
we
with?
have integrations with all the main online travel agencies for tours and activities, Viator, TripAdvisor, Get Your Guide, Klook. There are many. Just mentioning a few of the biggest ones. So yeah, what we do is we sell through them. Yeah.
And
Can you repeat the
what
question? Yeah.
what probably maybe like put it different, like what do you make customer acquisition channels, like where do you get the
Yes.
visitor?
So most of our distribution have been B2B. We have been through everything over the year. We have been retrying everything, and we found the B2B being our sweet spot where we sell to online travel agencies. We have also a website that participate for a decent percentage of our bookings, but not for the majority. We have been going through the classic channels of customer acquisition, the channels from social media to Google, and other organic channels as well, classic digital marketing activities. But for us was tough. And we have found, as I said, our sweet spot more on the B2B side. So that's where we focus most. We focus on selling through online travel agencies. We are integrated with most of them. With all the one where we sell decent volumes and is worth to do an integration, we are API integrated, and that helps a lot in terms of operational capabilities, of course.
Yeah, that's a safe bet, especially with like Google fighting with AI recently and changing all the traffic behaviors.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of platforms went down because of that. So like, yeah, having B2B sales is really a safe bet. It's this like steady channel of like traffic and of customers.
Yeah, Google is a channel that we will need to see what happens, right, with AI. For now, seems is a channel that the visits and the traffic is going down in terms of Google search. AI and chatbots, search through chatbots are going up. We need to see how the landscape will evolve, if Google will be able to dominate. We are going to see advertising very soon on ChatGPT and platform like that as well. So, of course, the landscape is shifting a lot. I see it as a big opportunity for operators to go direct again, try again, because the Google typical battle has kind of been lost by most of us, unfortunately, because we need to compete with big online travel agencies. They have a larger budget, they have more tech, they have more marketing capabilities. And of course, it's difficult to compete. And you end up also fighting against your own listings on these platforms. Now, AI is creating something new. I am positive, but for the operators, I'm positive. But I have to say, we need to see how things are going to evolve, because historically it's also true that the big players, the big distributors, the big tech companies have been able to take over the digital channels. And this might be another digital channel where they will take over.
Yeah.
But my hope is, and for sure, at least for a period of a couple of years, there is opportunity for tour operators to be basically found on the LLMs directly if you start doing activity there. So it's something we are looking at, and it's something where I am putting a little bet at least.
Awesome. Yeah, I was about to ask if you see like LLMs as a threat, because they can like build all these itineraries for the end user, but basically you are selling these itineraries. So
Yeah. I mean, building the itineraries is another good point. If we talk about AI, there are so many applications, and I can speak so much about the applications we have operationally, etc. Building itineraries is an idea, is not something we are actually doing at the moment. And we are not really looking into that because it's not that much of a workload for us to create new itineraries itself. For me, it's more about being found during the search.
yeah.
So if you want to pay, okay, fine, you go to the typical paying channel. But if you want to go organic, either you go online travel agency, which could be a kind of an organic channel in the sense you pay only if you receive a booking, you pay a commission. Otherwise, you don't have to pay upfront, like Google. Or you could go through typical SEO, which is something that is changing very fast. And so now the new point is being into AI also, optimization for LLMs and AI. So people who can get there and companies who can find their sweet spot and being able to be found, at least for a period of time, as I said, will definitely benefit. So it's something that everyone should look into and try.
Awesome. With regards to like the markets, we touched the like AI, but what biggest changes did you experience in like last year or 2 years, maybe post-COVID? What are biggest shifts in the industry that you think?
Good question. So I think shifts that I've seen are well, after COVID, there has been a surge in bookings. Many people wanted to travel, the famous revenge travel, etc. Then there has been some crisis, and it's always like this. There are waves in the industry. So at the moment, I see more commoditization. So tours are travel products, especially tours, are becoming more commodities. I'm seeing the online travel agencies trying to increase their top line by acquiring more supply and filtering less the supply. These bring this effect of products becoming more commodities. So it's not very bright, if I have to be honest, because I see more pushing toward the price competition, less attention to quality. And in customers as well, while after COVID, we have seen a surge in people wanted to travel well, book private tours, trying to have top experiences. Now I see more people wanted again, and even more than before COVID, looking for honestly the cheapest option in the market and the most basic service. We have many cases where people just want to be brought to have time to take some pictures and just move to the next place. They don't really want to have a tour guide. They don't really care about having such a crafted experience anymore. I'm talking about day trips, which is our core. If you go into multi-day, probably is a different story. I'm talking about day trips. I think it's just a moment where perhaps the global economy is not going that well, so people might want to spend less, which is understandable, and focusing on getting the best they can in the shortest time and with the most economic value. So for operators like us that have been investing in quality, in sustainability, in building scale, which requires a lot of investment in tech, is tough because we have a lot of competition coming from smaller operators who now come in and just undercut prices without considering the quality part. So that is something not good in terms of how the industry, in my opinion, is moving. However, I trust our waves again. Things will change, and there will be again focus on quality and possibly sustainability as well going forward, maybe in 1 or 2 years from now. That's what I foresee.
Okay, that's an interesting observation. Like, and what is your demographics? Where do the people come from? What's the age? Because like from other operators, I'm hearing like quite opposite, that people are willing to pay for personalization, for like individual approaches. Maybe it's graphics.
Yeah, I think it's also maybe the part of the world where we operate. I have heard that as well, but I can't say is what I'm seeing on a daily basis. So yeah, I stand on my point, and our demographic is, in terms of age, is very wide. To be honest with you, we have young couples in their late 20s, perhaps up to senior people in their 60s, and all in between, families and couples in between. In terms of countries, even though we are a company that is based in Hong Kong, in Asia, and we operate in Asia, our customer base is mostly European. Then I would probably 50% is European. Then we have a big portion of US based and Australia based as well, and maybe a 30% coming from different countries in Asia. Our tours, as I told you, we try to offer all the service levels. We go from the most luxury to the cheapest option. So of course we can gather a different type of demographic also in terms of intention of spending, which is good for us, and we try to acquire as much demand as we can. But I have to tell you, I have seen this trend across all the board, to be honest with you. We have had in the last 2 years a lot of competition coming, for example, from large groups tours that basically what they do, they provide you the most basic service you can have at the cheapest price you can have. So of course it's good because you pay less. You still go to the same places, and they are booming. They are selling a lot. even though not always. I don't want to speak bad about anyone. Some of these companies are really good in terms of quality, but unfortunately, there is also competition that to undercut prices, go into practices that are not very ethical, not very ethical in terms of sustainability, not very ethical also in terms of competition, because they give you the most cheaper price. They undercut also the payment to the tour guide. So the tour guide is paid less, but what the tour guide can do during the tour can upsell you different services, can upsell you from the restaurant, can upsell you an elephant riding, which is something super bad, by the way. I'm talking about Thailand, for example, or Indonesia, etc. Can upsell you another ticket to another attraction where you can stop, can send you to souvenir shops and get a commission. So all these type of practices, the customer doesn't know anything of what is happening behind the scenes. The customer see a cheap price, doesn't even understand what's happening. So maybe they also give a good review to the tour guide itself. But the reality is that it's creating where the winner is the one who is trying to just get smarter and not doing the right thing, and try to operate in a way that is more sustainable financially and environmentally as well for the destination. So that's unfortunately a reality that has always been there. In my opinion, is almost coming back stronger than before in the last 2 years. And it's something I'm battling every day, and my teams are battling every day to try to overcome.
And what you're doing there? Like, how are you battling?
Yeah, but paying. We sell. We need to undercut prices as well, but we don't undercut the supply. So our margins go thinner. We try to sustain ourselves with volumes and trying to launch new products, try to invent new things, try to optimize. The biggest one is probably trying to optimize top line and bottom line. So now we're looking into more technology to try to optimize these two parts. We are looking into dynamic pricing, variable pricing. So try to optimize the price according to everything. Seasonality, when people book, when the tour is, how many tour guides we have, how big is the car, what type of customer we have, etc. On the supply side as well, we try to basically optimize that side as well. So it's tough, but is what we need to do. The other big part is operationally. We are doing a lot of investment in technology. AI is very helpful to automate as much as we can. So try to reduce the OPEX by automating all the processes. And the more scale you have, the more automation, of course, you need. And this is very strategic for us in order to keep. So if we don't have much gross margin, we can keep still the net profitability by reducing our OPEX at least and optimizing that part. So it's a tough moment, to be honest, but it's also exciting, especially with this advancement in technology. And I'm sure that in the next couple of years, we will benefit a lot from all the investments that we are doing in tech.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like automation is something I'm quite familiar with. And this is one of the ways to increase your margins because you cut expense.
Yeah.
Like what are you automating is like some booking processes or like itineraries building or what is that you
Everything. We automate really everything, starting from operations. So we automate the way we speak with customers. We automate the way we process bookings, the way we process complaints or any conversation, the way we deliver information, and the way also our team gets the information, because when we have so many tools, so many suppliers, etc., also our own team need to get information from a big knowledge bases that need to be automated in order to get the right information. If I go into finance, it's about automating the myriad of data points that you have, reconciliations, currencies, refunds, really everything. If I go into tech itself, is automating certain parts of the coding and the process within their own team. Let me think. If we go into supply is probably the part that is is actually really automated supply as well, because we have a tour guide app that provide all the information that the tour guides need, all the messaging that the tour guides need, all the feedback as well that we need to provide. All the communication is inside the app, which is also partially AI driven as well. If we go into business development, something we are looking at is optimizing pricing, capacity, and the ways we calculate these. Again, large data set, that need to be analyzed, need to be understood, which data to use, how to transport this into reporting, how to keep the reporting updated, how to transfer the reports and pass them through different teams. So all these can be done manually through Excel files and is a mess, of course, at scale, or can be automated through different tools that we are using. So
Awesome.
we really try to automate everything.
That sounds like a big challenge. Like how big of the team is working, if not a secret, on that, on automating?
We are about 50 people.
About
Including customer service. We have 6 departments. We have operations that cover both supply, talking with our tour guides, suppliers, talking with our customers as well, processing the orders. We have the tech team, we have business development, we have the supply team, we have the finance team, and the HR team. So it's a small company still if you compare in many industry, and maybe in the travel industry we're already a medium size or on the larger side. But definitely the way to scale nowadays is not adding more people, but is optimizing the work of the people that we have. So we have been this number actually for already a couple of years, and we were more people before, even with less bookings. After COVID, we were about almost 100, and then we managed to make grow the people inside and keep the one that were able to keep up with the change of the trends, and slowly also change, of course, the stuff that was not up to the times anymore. It's something that need to happen.
Yeah. It's the way to grow is like increase sales volumes and decrease amount of manual work that you do.
Yeah.
And that's the way to keep the margins.
It's a low margin industry and has always been low margin. It's higher margin than air flights and hotels, but still is a low margin industry. So operational excellence is a must and will be more and more and more important in the future.
Flights is not. Flights is so low margins. We try to sell like flights, and you earn like half a year or €1 like from the sales. So in terms you mentioned like competitors like upselling different cheap stuff, and that's why they create that as added that lower margin. And why don't you? You can go the way of like not selling the cheap stuff, but selling some added value on top of that. So packaging some deals. From what I'm seeing, like from the transfer, what we're working with our partners already, like everybody is trying to package something because like they see like packages as the way to like increase the margin or like earn extra top of like what they already sold. It's like it can be smart upsell, it should not be like cheap upsell.
I am totally favorable on upselling in an ethical way, and that's part of the business. And having add-ons is something very important, and is also an added value for the customer. You want to buy more, but that's another thing. It's not what I was talking before. What I was talking before is another type of behavior. Now, having add-ons, having upselling, try to increase your margin through adding some piece to the core service. That's totally good. It's something that still is not very digitalized. So it needs to be, our tech is not ready yet. We're working on that, but also many online travel agencies are not completely ready as well in their API connections. So the add-ons don't work that well. It's quite complex to manage all that part still, but I'm sure something is coming up. We are working on it, and I know other players are working on it as well. So in the future, as soon as that is properly automated, it's definitely a way to go to increase profitability as well. Is yet not there based on my experience, again, in day tours when you talk about big scale. The problem is always the same. If you talk about selling 1 tour a day or selling 10 tours a day, nothing is a huge problem. There are a set of problems for sure, but the problem is when you start selling 100 tours a day or 1,000 tours a day, then every single change you make in the supply chain requires proper automation, proper processes, proper documentation, proper onboarding of the teams. And so, that's the part that is difficult.
Yeah, first of all, probably the proper automation, like proper data, like up to date, and proper automation of these processes.
100%.
Okay. Yeah, I see. What else are you working on, out of curiosity? Well, like what your bets about the future and what you're building right now? Besides like automating everything.
Well, that's the core thing. The other big part where we are working is sustainability. This is something we have tried to champion since several years, and it's also quite challenging in terms of adoption, in terms of changing the culture on both supply and demand. Also, there I have to be a bit skeptical in the sense that we have seen many surveys over the years saying that guests, customers want to travel more sustainable, and it's wonderful. In the buying moment, when they buy, then they buy still looking at the price mostly. And unfortunately, these two things don't really match. Unfortunately, to be sustainable, still you need to be a little bit more expensive because you have more expenses. And there is no other way around yet. I believe in the long run, sustainability can actually be cheaper, but it's not yet there for many reasons, some of which I mentioned before. That is, it's challenging, but it's nevertheless progressing, and it's something we are continuously working on. We have been certified with GSTC years back. Then we decided to not go through that path, but to just not spend the money in certification, but spend the money in actually doing things, which we believe is more important because certifications are not really anyway looked at by customers yet much. But in terms of policies, we are offsetting, trying to reduce our emissions as much as we can. We are offsetting what we cannot reduce. We have abolished single-use plastic. We are doing any type of policy about animal welfare, respect of the culture, animal interaction, support of the local communities, so on and so forth. And that's the part that I like most, actually. It's very fun. It's always challenging, as I said, like everything, but especially if you are at scale. But when you see adoption and when you see people changing their behavior and their perspectives is very, very rewarding. And I do trust that in the long run will pay off. And even if it doesn't matter because I personally believe, and my co-founder as well, that is the right thing to do. Every company should have that cost, that is the sustainability cost in their P&L actually. And should be, that's more a philosophical talk that we can have in another session maybe.
I fully agree because like we decided our company is socially responsible and we just leaving part of our like monthly revenues for social responsibility part.
Yes.
But like I'm hearing this like trend of sustainability within travel like more and more. But how do you make like sustainability not eating out all of your budget, all of your margins? You know, because as you mentioned, you're not using like cheap plastic or all of that cost. It just adds up. Tiny bits, but it adds up on at every step. It's like since it's like a thin margin business, it just can eat quite a decent percentage of your margin.
Yeah,
How
and
do you
that's
find it balance?
How do we find it? Well, that's a good question. We do it. I think is also, to be honest with you, I believe is a lot about mentality as well. It's a mentality shift. So if you are a business owner, you look at your P&L all the time, you look at your expenses, and you get to hire someone that is a bit more expensive with your budget, but you think is good. You are going to hire him. And then you start assuming that expense is there. All your planning going from that point will be that the expense is there. It's not going to change. It's going to be there. The same is with other parts. The same is also in the gross profit. Is also in the cost of the tour. Is also with sustainability. So if you assume that cost is there, you cannot avoid it because it's the right thing that is there. You need to find a way to run a business with that cost. It's not something that you can undercut. Again, I'm going a little bit more philosophical, but it's the reality and we are proving it. You can do it. If you start thinking in your P&L, this is not a line that I can cut. This is a line that is there and have to be like the tour guide fee, like the transportation fee. I can optimize it with scale, with different type of optimizations, negotiations with suppliers, but the line is going to be there. Then you start working on how to transmit maybe that cost into your pricing or into your communication. What we do, we don't really transfer it to the pricing because I told you before, we cannot because we need to be cheap. But we transfer into our communication. We try. So we try to make sure that the customers understand that we are doing this. And the hope is we increase volumes. So we have less margin, but we have more volume. And is what is happening as well. We gather more to that niche that is actually looking at this type of things and this type of added value. So yeah, I think this is the way we go.
So you can partially just turn it into like kind of marketing effort.
Look, if a tour cannot make a profit, we have to cut it. We have some marginality
Yeah, kind of
barriers.
Yeah, expense is there, but we can tell the rest of the markets that like we have this kind of expense because we care, right?
Yeah,
That might increase the sales volumes, like as part of a marketing effort.
it does. It does. It's not the easy way, that's for sure. But we are not here for the easy way anyway. So we enjoy what we're doing in the way we're doing.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you're doing great job. So, and I really appreciate what you're building. Like, is there anything else you would like to like add to that before we wrap up?
So no, about sustainability, I don't think so. Other things you are working on, let me think. Well, about automating everything, of course, is the main part.
Yeah.
But it's the other big bet we are putting, as I briefly mentioned, is working better with pricing. That's the other big job that we want to do this year and in the coming years. So making sure we can price smarter, which means giving a better pricing actually for customers who book earlier or book in certain periods, but also moving into the demand, the price of, for example, booking last minute or booking in periods where everything is fully booked. So we are among the few operators that are basically never fully booked because of the way we build our supply, but we price like everyone else, while perhaps if you want in the top peak day, which is New Year, for example, the day after New Year usually, and the New Year days, and the third are the peak days in certain countries. If you want to go on a tour and you are booking the night before, you might have to pay a bit more. And this is something that everyone is probably willing to do. We are not doing that now because we don't have the tech to do it and we don't have the capabilities. But these are little things that we are working on and they can make definitely the difference and help us compete better, I think.
But how, like, to be able to provide like this tiny granular pricing, need to be like, you need to have the real-time prices. You need to have the real-time with regards to like what's available, like how much it costs. From what I understand, you're working with like smaller
The cost,
like smaller operators. How do you have this real time? It's not like you simply integrate and that's it. You know,
that's a very good question.
Usually, tour guides do not have APIs, right?
That's a very good question. No, I'm only talking about the selling part. I'm not talking about the supply part. The supply part is the same. Maybe you can do negotiation on a seasonality basis with certain supplier, also tour guides, but you don't have real-time pricing on the supply side. The supply is always the same, but what you can optimize is the selling part. So API integration with the online travel agencies that allow to do real-time pricing. And having our own tech able to manage the real-time pricing. That's actually the most challenging part because it means also financial reconciliations that need to be adapted, information going through the different departments that need to be adapted because the customer service team need to know about that in real time, supply team need to know that in real time, sales team need to know that in real time as well. So all that is the complicated part, but we have an amazing tech team that is really on the top of innovation and technologies, and so they are able to keep moving moving across with the trends or even before the trends, I have to say. So on that, I'm confident we can do a good job. We are working on it.
And for what's your like daily work? Like I was first surprised that your title is CFO. Not the bad surprise, but I was like, okay, founder, but CFO. But now you're talking about all the small like pricing details and stuff. What's your job in this companies?
What's my job in the?
Besides being a founder, from what I hear is like about.
Okay, to be honest,
all these tiny margin.
To be honest with you, I don't like much the CFO title, even though it's pretty much what I do, definitely, and it's also where my background come. I come from a finance background, but I like much more the title of co-founder, which is what I really am, together with my other co-founder, who is our CEO. So co-founder means you are a bit in every part of the business anyway, or at least you can speak about every part of the business. I believe you don't need to know how everything is done, but you need to know why everything is done. And so today I'm telling you why we do what we do. If you were going to ask me in the details how the automation work, etc., I wouldn't be able to tell you, to be honest. Fortunately, because I have much more talented people than me working on it. But yes, so my job is maybe still more also the one of a CEO, even though I am not giving myself this title. So I supervise the operational part, the finance part, the HR part as well, of course, with the managers that help me in all this. But when it's about strategy, about pricing, about supply strategy, every area of the business, of course, I know it because it's my baby. So
Yeah.
I created this from scratch, so I know every part still. At least why it works in that way. So yeah, that's my job. I'm more on a strategic part. I can speak about things like pricing, etc. If you had to go me to the details, I would tell you to call my business partner and co-founder and CEO, who is actually knows more about that side than me.
Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot for this discussion. Is there anything else you would like to add on top of what we discussed?
No, I think we cover a few of the challenges that we face. I'm being very honest. Maybe sound a bit skeptical sometimes or pessimistic, but I'm not actually. I'm very optimistic. I believe, this job comes from passion, first of all. And I believe the travel industry is an industry that is evolving it can evolve in a wonderful way and it will evolve in a wonderful way, but it's also an industry that moves through ups and downs all the time. And we need to be able to weigh all these ups and downs.
Yeah.
And that's it. But I see a bright future for the industry overall. That's it.
Yeah, you cannot be pessimistic being entrepreneur. You always
Yeah,
need to
exactly. You can't. Yeah.
because like being a 10% entrepreneur is always like facing some challenges which you need to overcome. That's it. So
100%.
awesome. Yeah, awesome. Thanks a lot for Francesco for discussion. It was a great one. Have a great day and the best of luck with all of overcoming all the challenges,
Thanks. Likewise. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.